Shout out Duffy, shout out Micah.
This is it. Central Valley Podcast.
Hey, big shout out Central Valley Podcast.
You know I had to fuck with it.
Hey, shout out Central Valley Podcast.
Hello, everybody. It's been 30 episodes since I sat down and talked to a camera by myself, so I thought with the way that 2025 has been going that I would do it again. So last time I sat down, I think it was episode 87. We are now going to be at episode 118, I believe. So 30 episodes ago, 2 years ago. A lot has changed. I'm a father, and I thought I'd just sit down and talk to the camera just about what's been going on this year and just the future of the podcast and everything else. First off, it's not scripted, you guys. We're just going with it. First off, I just want to say thank you so much. If you're out there listening to this, if you've out there ever watched an episode, thank you so much. Like I've said before, this podcast has grown into something more than I ever thought it could be. Went from just maybe my friends listening to me getting my friends on the podcast to literally me getting like LaRussell on the podcast, GB, the mayor of Merced was a big guest, and just so many other cool, unique individuals that are not only within Merced, but the rest of the Central Valley as well. So once again, I just want to say thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. I truly appreciate the support, and it does not go unnoticed. So let's talk about kind of like this year, all right? I actually have a little note on my phone. Let me check it out on the things we got going on this year that I would like to say. First off, I just want to say we opened up Studio 99 this year, right? We opened up Studio 99 this year, and boy, did I underestimate how much energy and work and how hard it is to truly run a business. Yes, I had a small studio prior, a small 400 square foot studio, and I think I always wanted, always wanted something bigger, something I could host events at, and I think I overcompensated with that, you guys, because I went from 400 square feet to 2,500 square feet. I got a good group of people that wanted to also open up a film and photo studio, who became my members, you know what I mean? And so thank you to you guys. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Megan. Jason, okay, so let me redo that. Thank you, Jason, True Legacy Studio. Thank you, Megan, MT Photo. Thank you, Duff Daddy, my right-hand man. And then it has been me. And slowly we added a couple, or one more person just recently. But you guys really are what made this really possible. So we got the space in December of 2024, and it was just empty. And boy, was it hard to fill up 2,500 square feet and come up with the idea. It took about December, January, and February. That's 3 entire full months to like figure out what the hell am I doing with 2,500 square feet. The idea was film and photo studio that people could rent. The thing that I think I didn't take into consideration though was just the fact that the promotion of getting people to rent the space, and when they do rent the space, somebody having to be here. And it was like $7,500 an hour to rent, minimum of 2 hours. And I think I have a lot of other stuff going on. And so for me to take time out of my day, come here an hour or two before, get the temperature right, get it for the people to come, and then clean up afterwards, that was like, it always ended up being like a 4-hour debacle. And if I'm being real, I didn't really want to do that. I didn't really want, let me get this, to do it. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just a lot of time. I have to run Central Valley production. I'm a father. I have the Central Valley podcast, and I got all these other clients. You know what I mean? So like those were the things that I was like battling against myself. So it was like very hard. But needless to say, we opened in March. It was a success, a really good grand opening. And then I'm not gonna lie, after that, you guys, I was more depressed than I had ever been in my entire life. And it wasn't like necessarily because I got the studio and people weren't renting it. It was just like a lot of different things were going on. So basically, the studio price was a lot more than I had originally suspected it was gonna be. So there was that, right? Which is like, it was 3 times the amount I was paying personally than my old studio. So that was a big burden financially. I had obviously the rent for my family that was financially responsible for. And then honestly, business just slowed down. This year was the slowest year until the past 3 months, thankfully. But this year, leading up to basically from January to July, was literally the slowest year I've ever had in my filmmaking or entrepreneurial career. And that's scary. It's scary when like you put all your eggs in one basket and then people aren't calling, people aren't booking, and you got a family to take care of, family to provide for, you got rents due, and you got people kind of expecting you to be that funny guy. And let me tell you, it's hard to be that funny guy on social media when you're low-key going through depression. So, and I had never actually gone through depression like this, like that I'm explaining, okay? I've like, you know, been sad here and there, been like bummed, but I'd never been to a fact that I couldn't get myself to be happy. I couldn't get myself to joke around like I had been. And I think really what it was I just felt like a failure personally. I don't think I'm a failure, but personally it was like I got 2,500 square feet of space. No one's renting the space. And then I'm slow on gigs, so I feel like this urgency and this need that I need to like put myself out there, but every time I put myself out there, I'm getting told no, I'm getting told we don't got the budget, and you know, it was just like a lot of different things together. I wasn't working out, and it was just like I was coming home and I was like, dude, I was literally crying like almost every day for like at least a month or two. I was just depressed, and I was trying to pull myself out of it and trying to do the things that normally got me out of it, and I just couldn't. I was looking for my peers. I was looking towards people that like to be like, hey, listen, I need somebody's help. I need to vent to people, you know what I mean? And so literally March was okay, and then like April, May, and June, those were the hardest years I think of my adult life because I was barely getting by. I was dipping into my savings account. I was almost running that dry, and it was just a lot. It was, you know, it was a lot. It was so bad. It was so bad that I started applying to full-time positions at other places. And that's because I was going to do whatever I had to do in order to provide for my family. Okay. And so this job at Merced Union High School District became available, and it was videographer, photographer, highlight on the videography part. Okay. Full-time position, starting salary was $90,000. And I was like, oh, this is it. This is a sign. This is what I need, right? So then I apply for this position, right? I go through 3 rounds of interviews, you guys. I'm fucking killing it. I haven't done an interview in my adult life in like 6 years, but I am killing these interviews. I'm like bringing out paperwork. Hey, these are the things I would do. I think this, we should definitely do this. And like, dude, I run a production company. Yes, it's mainly a solo production company, but recently I've been expanding to adding more and more people to it because you got to do that. You got to do that in order to grow. And that was literally my mantra this year has been like growth, okay? Like, and maybe not mantra, but like the theme of this year has been growth. And so I applied for this job, had 3 rounds of interviews. I was killing them, right? I was saying everything. Like literally, there was like 7 people on the first interview panel. I knew I impressed them. Second interview panel, there was like 4 people, 5 people. I knew I impressed all of them. Third interview panel, we go into the guy's office, and it's definitely different. I think it's 3 people in this interview panel, and I know I'm nailing it, but I knew I was kind of screwed over when they were kept focusing on like how literally this is a media job for the school district, and they're hyper focusing on how am I going to produce a newsletter that reaches the audience. And I'm like, I mean, I guess if we were talking about a newsletter, we are going to make videos about this newsletter. And my whole thing was like, video is king. Don't get me wrong, you guys, photos are great, but if you want to make an impact in 2025, it's got to be with video. If you're still posting, if you're only doing photos, I'm sorry, that's not working. Needless to say, 3 people really wanted me. The guy making the decision had somebody else in mind, and they chose that other person. So unfortunately, I didn't get the job, and I was bummed. I was bummed because I was like, there's light at the end of the tunnel. I can provide for my family. I can, you know what I mean? I was like doing all these other things. I was like, oh my gosh. But sadly, that one didn't pan out. And then a lot of you guys like saw that I said I was a teacher, right? So let's talk about how I'm a retired teacher now, right? You guys how Central Valley Podcast is a retired teacher. And I'm not really a retired teacher, but I thought that's my funny joke for right now. So what happened with that scenario is I didn't get that job, didn't get the media job. Hold on, I'm getting text right now. I didn't get that media job, right? And so what did happen was I obviously interviewed really well, that they called me back and they were like, hey, we know we didn't give you that job, but there's a CTE digital media teacher position available if you're interested in it. And I was like, oh, sure. Why not? Well, the first thing I said is like, yeah, I am interested, but what's the salary? Because like I know notoriously teachers kind of are underpaid in the beginning, so I didn't want to kind of do that. So they're like, oh, starting salary is between $80,000 and $90,000, and I'm like, hey, I'm willing to give up whatever, or give up, a lot of my time and everything else, if I can make $80,000 to $90,000 for my family. Like that's really what I was thinking. So I was like, oh, sure, yeah, I'm definitely interested. They're like, okay, cool. We're gonna have an interview with you as soon as we can, and then we'll go from there. And then it was a 3-week break until they gave me an interview, and I was like, but they called and they offered me that job. So that was a confusing part. It was like they offered me the job, but nothing was official. So 3 weeks go by, they finally get me in for an interview. I do the interview and I'm like, it's weird because I'm like, I mean, they already offered me the job, but I'm doing an interview with you guys. And I'm like, hypothetically, if I were to get this position, oh, also, mind you, sorry, let's back up a little bit. When they offered me the job, they said, also, we would love to hire you for video production work for the school district. And I'm like, huh, that's really interesting when you hired somebody else for this position. But I digress. But anyway, so that goes on. I'm just laying it all out there also. My mom's gonna be like, why'd you told too much? Mom, Bernadine, it's okay. We're okay now. So I was like, wow, like they wanna hire me to be a teacher. They wanna pay me $89,000, $90,000. And on the side of that, they wanna pay me to do video production work for the school district, which is what I wanted to do in the first place. So I was like, this sounds great to me. Then I like go in the interview and I'm like, hey, like hypothetically, if I were to get this position, they said that they're going to use me for video production work. How would that work with my schedule? They're like, oh, we're willing to work with you, this, that, and the other. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Then literally later that day, they call, they're like, hey, you got the job. And I'm like, the job you already gave me? Okay, cool. I got the job. And then basically they're like, but you got to do all this stuff. School starts in 2.5 weeks. We got to rush order this stuff. We got to get you in a credential program. We got to get your fingerprints. We got to do live scans and all this, that, and the other, right? It was a lot of stuff. We got to prove that I've been in the industry for 5+ years and all this stuff, right? So long story short, from that phone call, I don't meet with anybody in person until I'm signing my contract. So it goes by about 3 or 4 weeks. And I'm like trying to get like, hey, should I meet up with somebody? And they're like, no, you're good. You're good. We're just in a waiting game. We're just in a waiting game. And I'm like, okay. Mind you, they're telling me that like, they said that if I still want to do my video production career, which I've literally built this business. Of course, I still want to like put emphasis and focus on this, or at least Studio 99. I got this lease for a minimum of 2 years, right? You guys, like, I need this. I need to actually put some effort into this. And they're like, you can have morning classes, you'll get the afternoons off. And I just honestly feel like they were telling me everything I wanted to hear in order to get me to say yes to this position. And that's fine. I get it. You're desperate for good teachers. You know what I mean? I get these things. So I go in, finally go to sign my contract, and I'm a little confused and a little stunned when I'm sitting there and I'm like, you guys said starting salary on the phone was 80 to 90,000, but right here, because I missed 1 week of school and I'm starting the second week, it went from $71,000 to $67,000, and that's not even the salary that I was told, right? So I'm a little like annoyed, peeved, but I've gone this far. I've already spent like $1,000 getting into this credential program, and I'm like, whatever. Let me just do it because like I'm here already. While all this is happening, the whole entire year, I've been trying to speak into existent retainer clients. I would love retainer clients, retainer clients, retainer clients. You know what I mean? I'm a big believer and fan of saying things, speaking them into existence, right? So as this is going on and as I'm getting this, I'm getting 3, 4, 5 different people hitting me up, all to be retainer clients, all over $1,000, some over $2,000 per month, right? And so I'm like doing the math in my head and I'm like, well, if I'm gonna get paying $67,000, divide that by 12, $4,000 to $5,000 a month for teaching, but I'm also gonna be getting over $5,000+ over here for video work. Like maybe like I was like, oh, well, as long as I get the afternoons off and I could focus on teaching for the first 6 hours, 6, 7 hours of the day, and then I could focus on my video production for the remainder time, then I should be good. And that's what I'm thinking in my head. I show up, I don't have afternoons off, you guys. And anytime I did bring that up while I was sitting in my classroom, while I was talking to people, they kind of just looked at me and like kind of like laughed of like, oh, there's no way that they could work with that schedule. Oh, there's no way they're going to give you afternoons off. And I was just kind of confused because I was just like, oh, okay, that's what they told me. And I go in and listen, you guys, it has nothing to do with the students. Why I quit teaching has nothing to do with the students. The students were awesome. The students needed a good teacher. And I wish I could have been that teacher. But after 2 days and me being there for almost 10 hours each day, I just realized that I either have to pick my dream or I have to pick teaching as a career. And there's no way I can intertwine these two. I thought there was going to be a way, and unfortunately, there just wasn't. So I did what was best for myself. I've worked my ass off for 5 years, you guys. 5 years since well, maybe 6 years. Since 2019, I've been working my ass off to make video production and this podcast be a career. I've been an entrepreneur. I've been figuring out ways to make my family money. And when I got into this desk job and my classroom had no windows and I was there for 8 to 10 hours a day and I was teaching 3 different classes when I was told I would be max teaching 2, and they wanted to make they literally wanted me to make a news channel like program of school events going on every single day, on top of being a teacher, on top of teaching 3 different subjects, on top of my video career business, on top of the podcast. I couldn't do it. And I had to pick everything that I had been working hard for. I had to make that hard decision. And I didn't want to, you guys, but it was just like these realizations. And so literally I did 1 full day. It was fine. Did the second day, and the second day, the whole time I'm just thinking like, this is, this is way harder than working for myself, in the sense of like, I'm getting 40 emails a day. They're telling me I gotta be at the football game on Friday. They're telling me I gotta do yard duty. They're telling me I gotta do all these other things, make a news program every single day, and on top of it, teach 3 different subjects, lesson plans for each of those subjects. And like, I'm getting one person, shout out you, Miss Jackson, you were helping me, but like, it wasn't enough support. They just threw me in there with 0 training, and they expected me just to be okay and basically bend my knee to whatever they were asking me. And I couldn't do it, you guys. I literally couldn't do it. After the second day, I got home and it was just like, I just had this feeling. And I was just like, dude, this is not what I signed up for. This is not what they told me my job was gonna be. And this is not even like the standards that they said it was gonna. So I just was having these realizations, and it was just in my head. And like, at this point, I'm really not wanting to tell my parents that like I'm second guessing this, but at the same time, I'm getting all these retainer clients and I'm like, dude, how am I gonna sit here and do this desk job with no windows for 10 hours a day while I could be making more money doing it? Yes, of course, they got benefits, they got all this other stuff, you guys, and I get that, and I wanna have those things for my family, but at the same time, I need and I have to do what's right for myself. And so literally it was like one thing that my dad said to me, and he was like, damn, like they really kind of misled you on what they told you was going to be happening. And like, it was just like, I knew that and I felt that, but like hearing my dad say it just kind of put a spark into my brain of like, you're right. Like, this is not what I signed up for. This truly is not what I signed up for. And I got to do something now, because if I wait longer, it's going to be worse. And sadly, I went in that next morning. I couldn't sleep at all that night, but I knew that I can't do this job. And I felt bad for the students because, dude, I just felt bad for them because I knew. So I go in there early. It's Wednesday, it's late schedule. I'm like, I'm just going to go in there and I'm going to talk to the principal. Of course, the principal is not there, but I was going to quit that day. And or whatever you want to say, I'm gonna fucking forfeit my position. Whatever way you want to say that, that sounds better. But I knew for a fact I was gonna do that day, and I didn't want to. And I didn't want to do that. Obviously, like having those conversations, those things, it sucks, right? So I go in there, oh, he's not in today, and I'm like, well, the vice principal there, he's not here yet. So I just go to the head of the office lady, and I'm like, hey, listen. They said the pay was going to be this. That proved to be a lie. They said I was going to have afternoons off. That also proved to be a lie. They said I was going to do video production. I don't think they really had any intent to do that either. So I would like to resign from my position, and today is going to be my last day. And before I did all that, I went to my room. I grabbed all my photos I put up in the place. I was like, I gotta get all this shit out of here. The only thing I left is my microwave. So unfortunately, this studio doesn't have a fucking microwave right now, but that's the least of my work concerns. And then I just dipped out. And it was the weirdest feeling all day. I had teachers and other people, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And I just left it. I left it out there. And I'm like, listen, this is not, I'm done. I'm done. I didn't respond to any of them, but it was the right move for me personally. And I just had to eat it. I had to sacrifice that, my whatever reputation I had at the school. I mean, I would work there for 2 days, so it's not like I really had a reputation or that I really didn't think I was gonna have that much of an impact on the students in 2 days. But let me tell you guys, I quit, right? The kids find my Instagram and the kids find my TikTok, and I'm getting comments after comment after comment. Teacher, teacher, why'd you leave us? Teacher, teacher, be honest. Teacher, what did we do? Why'd you leave? And I'm like, students, kids, it's nothing to do with you guys. It literally has nothing to do with the students. It's just the scenario. And it's me choosing my dream over me feeling like I'm a part of somebody else's system and I'm just another number. And that's truly what it was. And I felt bad for the students. They're, teacher, teacher, are you still gonna take us to your studio? And I'm like, I feel bad. I felt really bad for the kids. Didn't really feel bad for the schools and everything else, but I felt bad for the kids because I would love to be that cool teacher. And the thing is, it's like maybe college is more the correct route where I don't have to be there for 10 hours a day. They say you only teach like 6 hours a day, but let me tell you, there's 2 hours of prep work before and 2 hours of prep work at the end. And maybe when you get in 5 years, you'll be able to get a system down, but I couldn't afford that. I couldn't afford that. I just felt like I was giving up on my dreams. And when you feel like you're giving up on your dreams, it's like a fight or flight mentality. And so when I felt like that, I got the studio lease for 2 years. And if I do this teaching thing, I'm going to ignore the studio. I'm literally going to ignore the studio. I'm still going to have to pay rent at the studio. And it's going to suck. It's going to suck because literally half my paycheck is going to be going to, at least half my paycheck was going to be going to rent at my house and rent at the studio. And so I just knew, honestly, I can't do that. I can't give up on this studio thing. And granted, it's been slower. I've been very slow on doing events or anything with this studio. And honestly, it's because I need to build a team around me. I need to build a team around me that wants to and can do events and other things and be here and rent it out and blah, blah, blah. But moral of the story is follow your dreams, you guys, because I just couldn't bear sitting behind that desk knowing that I still have to pay for the studio, I still have to do all these other things. And at the end of the day, I just couldn't do it. You know what I mean? So that's the story of how I became a retired teacher. Yeah. So I don't know. I thought I'd give you that life update for sure because, yeah. And I think literally a lot of my depression just stems straight from the fact that I wasn't being able to provide for my family. I mean, I was making it by and I was barely doing it, but that barely doing it really got to me. And I just think you got to go through trials and tribulations, especially as an entrepreneur, especially as a filmmaker, in order to get things going. And I think this year was testing me. It tested me more than ever. And I'm happy to say I've retained their clients. I'm happy to say that I'm doing good. I'm happy to say that everything else, but you can't slow your foot on the gas pedal. And obviously I like pulled back the first 3 months of the year. And instead of focusing on my video work like I'd always been doing, I was focusing on the studio and being able to rent it out. And like, I was just doing the math. I'm like, bro, even if I rented it out, like if I rented out the studio to 10 people, it was like gonna pay me with like it would be like maybe $2,000, right? That I was getting for far more work than what I would be doing for my video work. And so it's funny because the people who show up for you when you're doing this stuff, it's like not who I expected to show up for me. I literally had social media friends reach out to me being like, hey, dude, you're opening up a studio. That's fucking awesome. Let us go there. Let us shoot content so you can have it, so you can promote it. And I was like, what the, like, you just don't think like these social media friends. So shout out to you, Rich Visuals, Tim, and then their whole gang, Status Productions, and I know I'm missing one more. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I forgot your name. Status Productions and fuck, I don't know. But they came out. They're in San Jose. Those boys came out in February, and they came out for the grand opening. And like multiple cars driving 4 hours to come support a dude that they only know through social media. So that was very, very I truly appreciate that. And then I was talking to Rich, and he's like a younger guy than me, but he's really good at production and really good about the business end of stuff. And I look at him as one of my peers, one of my mentors, and literally he came down even a third time. He's making 4-hour trips just to fucking support a dude. You know what I mean? And he was just like, pivot, dude. Like, I know you want to make money from the studio, but you got to pivot because like what was making you money before this? Video production. So pivot and focus on that. And I started doing that, and obviously it's slow in the beginning, and then it just feels like it's like, and then it started picking up. And then the teaching job thing and everything else happened. But those are the things that kind of like led me to, 1, become a teacher, 2, not become a teacher, 3, have clarity for what I wanted to do in my life. And I think that you get tested in life, and you get tested by what things, the 9-to-5 thing and this, okay, I'm gonna redo this. Maybe it'll be a good clip, I don't know. You get tested in things in life, okay? You get tested by like that 9-to-5 stability, right? And I hadn't had that in a long time. And when shit was hitting the fan, I felt like I needed that stability, right? So I got tested by stability. I got tested by the pressure of other people. And at the end of the day, I just knew I had to provide for my family. So literally, I was willing to give up my dreams if I meant providing for my family. And then when everything's happening and shit's hitting the fan and you don't know really where it's going, I just had a very, very good moment where I just had clarity of what I wanted to do. And I just realized that I would rather work for myself and work harder at what I want to do for myself than be another pawn in a scheme. Because at the end of the day, like, yes, teachers are awesome and I think they should get paid way more. And I liked my high school teachers and this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, I had to choose what was right for me. And what was right for me is sticking with the studio, chasing my dreams, and finding a way to provide for my family. And I was able to do those 3 things by the end of the year. And it was the hardest thing I've ever fucking done. But I am so, so, so very thankful for it. So that is that story right there. Attention Central Valley farmers, agribusinesses, and dairy owners. Inmate Construction understands that your operation is the backbone to America's food supply, and they're here to help you thrive. They specialize in designing, fabricating, and erecting high-quality structures tailored to your needs. Rooted in Atwater, the heart of the Central Valley, they bring unmatched expertise, efficiency, and craftsmanship to every dairy, ag, and commercial construction project. Whether you're building from the ground up or renovating an existing structure, they work with you to turn your vision into a reality. Call IMMIG Construction today at 209-724-9488 or visit immigconstruction.com. Trust a team that values quality, reliability, and has the trust of our community. You know what I love? Vanessa's Ice Cream Shop. And for 20 years, they've been serving the sweet taste of tradition. They specialize in authentic Michoacan-style ice cream and paletas. Elias Figueroa learned the craft in ice cream shops across Mexico, and now he brings that same passion and tradition to our community here. Visit Vanessa's Ice Cream Shop at 7020 Walnut Avenue in Winton, California, or 710 Carroll Avenue in Merced. And remember to treat yourself to something truly special. Vanessa's Ice Cream Shop. Hey, are you looking to boost your business without the cost of purchasing an expensive ATM or dealing with processing? Cal Central ATM Company has you covered. They provide free ATMs, yes, that's right, free ATMs to businesses like dispensaries, liquor stores, gas stations, barbershops, and more. Reach out today and ask about their wireless card readers. Save money and streamline your transactions with ease and without the card reader fees. Let Cal Central ATM help your business grow. You can reach them today at calcentral23@gmail.com. With personalized care, experienced therapists, and a focus on helping you move better and feel better, Valley Performance Physical Therapy is the go-to spot for all your rehabilitation and wellness needs. They don't just treat symptoms, they get to the root of the problem so you can get back to doing what you love, pain-free. You can reach them at 209-626-5350 to schedule an appointment and are located at 1180 West Olive Avenue in Merced. You know you got to support local by spending local? Trans-County Title is your only locally veteran-owned and operated title company. They have been serving Merced County since 1985 and are ready to help you with your next escrow transaction. By choosing Trans-County Title, your dollars stay local. They are members of local organizations developed to support and improve our community. They offer amazing marketing tools to their agents to better assist you with a smooth transaction and also provide you with the best customer service. Because at Trans-County Title, our service is the difference. Bro, you ever wear a suit from Dapper Man? It's a total game changer. They've been voted best men's store 2 years straight, and it shows. From everyday suits to once-in-a-lifetime occasions, they've got you covered. And when it comes to weddings, there's no one else I'd rather trust. No rentals, no guesswork, just real fits from people who actually know what they're doing. Remember, whether it's a job, a wedding, or just because you want to show up looking sharp, they've got you. You can reach them at 209-285-2424, and they are located at 3507 Tully Road, Suite 310 and 320, next to Mr. T's Donuts. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Dapper Man isn't just a store, it's a suit lounge. And it's not called Dapper Man for no reason, because you're going to be there looking dapper, man. It's that time. Declutter with ease and reclaim your space. Welcome to Be Junk Free Merced, where Scott Livesey is your go-to guru for hassle-free junk removal. Tired of tripping over unwanted items or feeling overwhelmed by clutter? Scott's got your back. Unlike other services that leave you with the heavy lifting, Scott swoops in and handles everything himself. Say goodbye to clutter and hello to the refreshed space. Reach out to Scott today for a quote, and let's make sure your junk disappears in a snap. You can reach him at 209-233-1519. I just want to shout out all the sponsors this year. You guys are fucking awesome. You guys believe in me. You guys believe in what I'm doing for this community. And a lot of people will be like, what are you doing for the community? Dude, I'm just highlighting the people in the Central Valley. There's a lot of people, and I wish I could do more episodes. I wish I had more bandwidth, but I don't. So you sponsors, you're fucking awesome, okay? Dapper Man, thank you so much. Inmate Construction, Matt, you believed in me in 3 or 4 seasons. I can't thank you enough for that, dude. That means so much to me. Vanessa's Ice Cream, freaking best ice cream in the Central Valley. Calling it here. Who else we got? Cal Central ATM. Shout out to you, Brian. Thank you so much. Since I've had you on the podcast, like, I just appreciate people who are out there who support the vision and what I'm doing. Trans-County Title, thank you so much. Be Junk Free Merced. Scott's been my longest sponsor here. Literally the longest sponsor I've ever had. Be Junk Free Merced. Thank you so fucking much. Shout out to Marcus Rodriguez too, okay? And last but not least, Valley Performance Physical Therapy. Thank you again. I see you out there. I see you doing your podcast, and I see you making your own content. And what I love is when businesses are making their own content in any way, shape, or form. So shout out to you guys. All right, this next section, what I'm gonna do. We're having another kid. Me and my wife having another kid in December, so we're taking a hiatus after this episode, and maybe I'll come back. Maybe I'll do a few random ones, but we are giving birth, I would say. My wife's giving birth, and she's at home pregnant and a little miserable. I will say that myself. And so we have a daughter named Izzy, if you guys didn't know, and we're naming our son Ozzy. Izzy and Ozzy. I think it's fucking cool. Little California baby surfer names, and we're excited for it. We're gonna have 2 under 2. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a lot. So please, please, please pray for us, because that's gonna be a lot. And that's really, oh, it's out of focus. It's in focus. That's gonna be a lot. But that's why we're also taking a hiatus, is just I gotta be able to focus on the family. So that's why we're doing that. That's not why, but that's why we're taking a 6-month break with the podcast and everything else. We got to figure things out. We got to figure out our routine. We got to figure out our life. we know we're going to be in the trenches, you guys. So we're going to do our best for that. So we got that going on. So if you guys didn't know, my wife, I mean, you should know if you've been listening to these episodes, but my wife ran an ultra marathon. She ran from LA to Vegas. She almost made it all the way. So she was 100 miles off, which sounds fucking crazy. It sounds like, oh, then she must have quit early. No, she didn't. She made it to 200 miles. And then her feet swelled up 2 sizes bigger than what they actually were. And it was just, I mean, I will never hold that against her ever. If you ran 200 miles in 4 days, 50 miles a day, 2 marathons a day, that's crazy, right? So I meet her in Vegas. I'm at a bachelor party in Phoenix, Arizona, not Phoenix, in Scottsdale, Arizona, at the bachelor party. Then we end up I'm flying into Vegas, meet her in Vegas. And from that point, let's just say what happens in Vegas doesn't always stay in Vegas because she got pregnant right after. Who gets pregnant after running 200 miles? How are you that fertile? I don't know. But she is. And now we're having a baby in December. So we got that going on, right? I'm trying to think what else. Oh yeah, let's talk about my project, the Merced Mall. If you guys don't know, I made a video and it got like 300,000 views, and it was how the Merced Mall was finally getting under construction. Recently made another video and it's almost completed. So literally all you got to do is make fun of stuff and it'll happen here in the Central Valley. No, I'm just kidding. But dude, whoever is actually behind the Merced Mall, let me give you credit because I definitely need to shout you out. I make jokes. I act like I'm doing all this stuff. I don't have nothing to do with the Merced Mall. Okay, I have nothing to do with it, but I will make jokes all day, every day. Something also that like I was sad about, like the podcast, if you've noticed, is like we always made funny like skits. Skits were like our bread and butter. It's how we got popular doing things. And this season, like me being depressed, 2, me having to focus on making money for my family, and 3, just me not being in the mood and just not having enough time. It's like I wasn't able to make the sketches and make the skits that we normally do. And it kind of sucked, honestly, because like I enjoyed that literally just as much as I enjoyed the podcast episodes. I enjoyed making the sketches with the guests and promoting these different things and just doing all these different stuff. You know what I mean? And so it was like I felt bad because I wasn't able to do it, but also at the same time I had to worry about my own mental health. And so I apologize on not being able to make the sketches like I normally do, but next year we're coming back. We're doing it bigger, and I have an idea of how we're going to do the podcast, and it might not even really be a podcast form. But let me look up who Merced Mall construction. What would you look up? Merced Mall construction updates. Let's see. It's funny. Hold on, let me get back. Merced Mall construction update. I don't know if you guys can see that. Freaking focus on this. There we go. My video right there is like the first thing that comes up. All right, but let me click on it. It's been Ethan Conrad. All right, shout out to Ethan Conrad. He's the one actually in charge of the Merced Mall and making things happen, okay? So, Merced Mall, I know I've joked with you for 3, 4, 5 years, okay? But I truly, truly support you guys, okay? I know it was like my favorite talking point. It was like an easy way to get clicks and views, but dude, I would love for the Merced Mall to be popping again, all right? So shout out to Ethan Conrad and what he's been doing at the Merced Mall. If you guys actually need content, good content promoting it, dude, I run a production company. I'm more than willing to do that for you guys. And if you guys think, no, you've been making fun of us, I also totally get that. But bro, I would love to be Merced Mall spokesperson and be like getting people in there. Because let me tell you, I went into the Merced Mall for the first time in 3 or 4 years. And that shit was way nicer than I remember it and thought it was. And there's like 10 new stores, not including all the stores on our street. So once again, shout out to the Merced Mall. Shout out to Ethan Conrad. Malls are coming back. I don't know if that's a fact, but it makes me feel like it is. So shout out to you. I really appreciate it. And dude, I know I make fun of you guys a lot once again, but I seriously am happy that it's happening and that there's no more construction signs on it, dude. It's like back and better than ever. So that's awesome. And shout out to Sensei Japan in there. And Seas Candy. Seas Candy is literally what held them all together this whole entire time. But we're back. Merced Mall is back. All right, so I was talking about that. What else was I gonna talk about? Let me just talk my shit real quick, you guys. Okay, I posted on social media. I uploaded my photos to ChatGPT. I uploaded the mat, the childhood mat with all the, let me just show you guys right here. I'd rather just show you guys because I was getting freaking haters because I use AI. Yes, I use AI. Everybody and their mom uses fucking ChatGPT, and they're giving me shit because they're saying I need to promote local artists. I need to do all this other shit. And it's like, bro, I have 120 episodes of me supporting local artists. If I want to use ChatGPT with my own photos, that's fucking okay. And you guys got to be okay with it. They just, because I have a public platform, they think I'm not supporting these artists. It's like, bro, all I do is support the community. I digress, but here we go. Let me show you. So this is what I'm talking about. Let me turn down my brightness and maybe that'll help. Yeah, right there, right? So these are my photos I took, right? And here I am. Each of them basically are just different. This is like that childhood map that I'm talking about, you guys. That's Courthouse right there. So, right, I post that. And I'm like, look, I made Merced my childhood playmat. That's what I said. And I'm getting haters. Multiple haters. People telling me, what the fuck's your problem? You use an AI? Do you know your environmental impact? And I'm like sitting here like, bro, I didn't invent AI, nor am I like saying make something random. I'm saying use my photos, make it this design. And people are just DMing me saying like, why do you use AI? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm really like, hey, I understand what you're saying, but like, I've done nothing but support this community, support different artists, and everything else like that. And I think people don't realize how much time and energy it takes. Like, in order for me to get somebody on the podcast, to edit the podcast, to make promos or anything else like that, it could take me up to like 40 hours for one single podcast episode. So when they're like, why don't you collab with local other artists? I'm like, bro, I just don't have enough bandwidth. I have a studio to run. I have a family I need to be a dad. I have a family I need to be a husband for. I have my video production work, and I have the podcast on top of that all. So there's a lot of different things going on, and I just don't have enough bandwidth. So I'm sorry I use AI, you guys, but you guys shouldn't come at me like I'm the devil because I use it. Other people use it. Literally, I didn't invent this. So I'm sorry that you don't like it, but I'm gonna continue to use it. It literally helps my business. It literally makes my life a little more stress-free. And I'm not using it for like, I don't know, I'm not using it for other stuff. And then on top of it all, then I go ahead and I post, what is it? I post an old I saw the Merced Mall sign got taken down, right? So then I post this. It's a photo I did. Basically, it's a Merced Mall, neon lights, and I put Stranger Things on a puddle reflection. So it's like the shadow monster and the upside down. And so that's something I literally edited on Photoshop. I post that, and they're like, AI, AI, AI. I'm like, bitch, this is not AI. And they're like, well, you use it all the time. You use it all over your profile. I'm like, I've used it on one fucking post. I've literally used it on one post and I get so much hate for it. So that was annoying. And needless to say, you talk shit, you don't like what I'm doing, you want to talk shit to me on my Instagram, I will block you. I have no problem with that. And I need to live my life. Normally I don't give anybody, like I don't comment back on comments. And like, I was like, these people just don't understand. I don't really explain to them. And they're like, no, you fucking suck. They kept basically saying that. So I digress. It is what it is, but here we are. What else? What else have I got going on? Oh, dude, I've been working with this cool company, Anabasis. Anabasis is, so I met Sean Connor. He hired me for some things a few years back, and his brother, Adam Connor, runs Anabasis. And what Anabasis is that they are a veteran-owned company, and they are making housing, affordable housing, or housing for veterans who don't have access to it. So right now, there's a demand for housing for these homeless veterans, right? But all these basically people who own like apartment complexes and everything that can get VA hush vouchers, they're not accepting them because they don't want homeless people living in their apartments, which, fuck yeah, right? But what Anabasis is doing is they are building housing specifically for veterans in Merced County, in Los Banos. They have plans to want to do it in Seaside. They have plans to want to do it in Modesto, all over California, right? And so, luckily enough, I was friends with Sean. Sean gave me contact with his brother Adam, and I've been doing all these awesome mini documentaries that literally show what Anabasis is all about. Anabasis is literally, I hope they have a statement I can read right now. I hope they have a statement online because I don't want to butcher what they do. Okay. Anabasis partners with communities. They specialize in delivering housing to those. Okay. Let me reread that because I don't want to butcher it. I probably want to make a clip out of this. Okay. Anabasis is a foundation of service building the essential. They partner with communities specializing in delivering housing to those whose fruits of their labor are worth more than their pay. So they literally focus on housing for veterans, specifically a Central Valley-based business, you guys, focusing on solving the homeless crisis that is literally in California. So my utmost respect to Adam, to Dean, and to what they are building here. Dean's more like Santa Cruz-ish area and stuff like that. So that's why they're trying to focus on the Seaside one. But literally, you guys, like, this filmmaking career has like led me to the most random different jobs. It's like a million different side quests, you know what I mean? It's like you're in an airplane one day, you're filming burgers the next day, you're filming Botox the next day, you're doing mini documentaries about this, you're doing mini documentaries about the homeless, you're doing mini documentaries about athletes, you're doing mini documentaries about, you know, somebody's job. There's a million different things that's going on. So I feel blessed to be able to work for a company like Anabasis, and it took me forever to learn how to say that word. I thought it was Anabasis, it's Anabasis. So that took forever. So Adam, shout out to you for making that stick into my brain. What else have I been up to, you guys? Sorry, let me go back to, I do have a list of things I'm supposed to be going through. Yeah. So literally we're almost done here. I know it's been me just rambling on, and I'm sorry, but I personally needed this. I needed to just vent for myself about what's going on in my life. Really, really, really what's going on in my life, because it's been a tough year. And I miss talking like this and being open. And it's weird, like, I can talk like this for 45 minutes, but if I do try to talk about a YouTube video or something specific, I cannot do it. So that's crazy to me. But let's talk about what I think I'm going to do with the podcast for the future seasons, at least next season. And then I'll go into my 2026 goals. And then that's it. That's it. So this podcast has been awesome. I get to sit down, I talk to people for an hour. It started out as like 30 minutes, then 45 minutes. Then every episode was like an hour. Now every episode seems to be like minimum an hour and a half to 2 hours, right? And I love sitting down with people, and I still probably will sit down with people and talk to them. But what I want to do more of is like think of Dirty Jobs show via podcast. And the reason I want to do that is I know, one, I feel like I sit down and I spend all this time for the podcast, and at the end of the day, honestly, you guys, the podcast doesn't do that well. And like on social media, the clips don't do that well. And what does do well is like when I'm out and about doing things. And so what I want to do is take this, like, think Dirty Jobs, but instead of having somebody on the podcast, I'm going to go over to them and I'm going to spend like 3 or 4 hours to them, and we're just going to film the whole entire thing, and I'm going to make that into episodes. Yes, it's going to be more editing, but honestly, it's going to be something that I'm way more passionate about than like sitting down, talking to people. I mean, like, sitting down talking to people is cool, and I like doing that once again, but I need a switch up. I need something changing. I need something that's going to do better on my social media, because I can't afford to take 15 to 20 hours editing a podcast and me post clips and it gets 50 likes when I have 40,000 followers. Honestly, I just can't afford to do that, because it's like, what's the point of that? No one's seeing it. So my plan is to do Dirty Jobs type style. So if you're like, let's say you're in construction, I'm going to go and I'm going to talk to you about the origin of your business. We're going to do it on the field, right? We're going to like have me doing some construction stuff with you. Literally just a dirty jobs type format show, but Central Valley based businesses. And that's my idea. And I think 1, it'll do better. 2, it's more entertaining. And 3, it changes it up and it allows me to do different stuff. So I truly, truly hope that you guys can bear with me. I might still have portions, but maybe like a 20-minute portion of me talking to the people still. But I need something different. And this podcast has been awesome, but you gotta let me fly. I'm a peacock, you gotta let me fucking fly. So that's what's gonna be going on in the future, 2026. It's gonna be a lot different, but I'm ready for a change. I'm gonna have 2 kids, and bro, like this shit might not even come out till like literally my first episode might not even be out till like June. But I'll be like editing it and doing it and podcasts and everything else. I'm still gonna call it Central Valley Podcast. I'm still gonna be tagged Central Valley Podcast. That's what I am. That's what I've been known as. That's what I've been known for. So that's that. 2026 goals, you guys. My 2026 goals is 1, I need to get into the 170s. I fucking stepped on the scale and I was 208 pounds. What the hell? I've never been that heavy in my entire life. I'm down to, actually today I stepped on the scale and it was 208 3 or 4 weeks ago, like about a month ago, we'll say. And I was like, what the hell? Like the highest I'd ever been was 203, 204. And then I didn't weigh myself for a long time. And I jumped on the scale as 208 and I was like, what the fuck? I'm a fat piece of shit, blah, 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 right? So I was thinking these things and I was like, I got to get my health in order. I have 2 kids in the coming. I mean, I have 1 kid already. I have another kid coming. I got to get my health in order. So I've been running a lot, and with that becomes my fitness goal. So 1, I'm trying to get into the 170s. I'm trying to get this face to look skinnier. 2, I'm running an ultra marathon. Not a crazy ultra marathon. I mean, it sounds crazy. It's like 32 miles. So obviously with that comes, I got to start training more. I got to start running up. I want to at least run 1 marathon before that, and it's going to be in Mammoth Lakes. It's crazy. It's crazy because the starting elevation there is like fucking 8,000 feet. So it is going to be tough. It's going to be tougher than a normal marathon because there's no oxygen. But I want to test myself. I want to push myself. I want to record it. I want to make YouTube videos. I want to do what I've always said I wanted to do with my life. And it's like, I have an entertaining life, but I don't post any of it because I'm too focused posting other people's lives. And what I mean by that is doing my clients' work. And I'm going to continue to do my clients' work, but I got to do a better job of doing mine. You know what I mean? So 2026 goals, not only run a marathon, run an ultra marathon, document that, document my wife's journey. My wife is about to come from she's about to come from being pregnant, postpartum, to not only running marathons, but to running an ultra marathon. I don't want to announce it yet. I might be running Yosemite, but you know, that's what it is. So those are the things that like 2026 I want to focus on is like new podcast format, running ultra marathons, producing more content, more sketches for you guys. And that's kind of what my goals are. And once again, if you've ever, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I truly appreciate the support that you guys have given me here with this platform. I'm just a regular dude being myself, and I'm glad that so many people can gravitate towards it. I'm this outgoing person, but I'm not this outgoing person where every single time I step into the room, it's like, I'm not the me guy. You know what I mean? I'm just like, if I got something to say, something to share, I share it. But thank you so much. If you ever liked a post, if you ever watched an episode, if you ever subscribed to the YouTube channel, I truly appreciate it. One more time, I'm shouting out my sponsors this year. Shout out to Dapperman, shout out to Inmate Construction, shout out to Vanessa's Ice Cream Shop, Cal Central ATM, Trans County Title, B-Junk Free Merced, and Valley Performance Physical Therapy. Thank you guys for believing in me. I truly appreciate it. And until next year, we're fucking out of here, at least podcast-wise. Thank you for tuning in to the solo episode. I love you guys, and you mean the world to me. Mwah.
Shout out Duffy, shout out Michael.
This is it. Central Valley Podcast.
Hey, big shout out Central Valley Podcast.
You know I had to fuck with it. Hey, shout out Central Valley Podcast.